Hi, a couple of days ago, I posted a video about the virtues of falling apart. Well, it just so happens that I am currently falling apart, so I thought I would invite you in on the journey. I'm Evan from Enlightened Workshops. Welcome. If the content that we're creating here speaks to you in any way and you feel like other people would benefit from it, please like and subscribe down below because when you do that, it opens that up to more people seeing it. So please support us in that way. That would be great. And in this video, I will be using a tool that I'm calling a trauma inventory or a parts chart, or I haven't quite come up with a name for it yet. But if you're interested in it, I'll have a link in the description down below, and you can start to download a PDF version of this. And if there's enough public outcry, then I will create a tutorial on how to use this. I'm creating this in a program called Mindomo. It's a mind mapping software. You'll get the hang of it as we go through this. Anyway, so I'm falling apart. It's true. It's part of the process of this whole journey that I'm talking to you about. So let me see if I can describe it. I'm going to jump into this mind mapping software, and I'm going to sort of move through this a little bit and kind of show you what I'm talking about and why I'm falling apart. So the reason I say I'm falling apart is I'm kind of hitting this bottom, and I've been working with the food and my addiction to overeating in Eating Disorders Anonymous. I've been a longtime member of Overeaters Anonymous, but I've recently had some breakthroughs that are pretty substantial, and I want to kind of share some of those with you. The real breakthrough here is this kind of mapping thing that I've learned to use. I did this in a fourth step, is kind of where I discovered it. I said, how can I paint a picture for myself that I really understand and can use to help me describe what I'm going through? It's just a tool just for me. And so what I started doing is I started studying myself when I had the temptation to overeat. And I noticed that I had a part in me that I called the hungry monster. And when I was having trouble with a deadline, when something wasn't going right, I would want to reach for food. And as I started to observe myself, I saw this energy that was like a dog living under the porch of a farmer's house who wasn't supposed to be there, like a wild dog, and it would have to run out and steal food when it can, but it was never okay for it to have food. So this was kind of the first step. And when I have these little numbers next to these things, and it describes the sort of amount of pain that it's in, 0 being Zen, 10 being hair on fire. And when I got to this hungry monster, it was like a 9 or a 10. And so this was really affecting me in my day-to-day life. And I noticed that what was underneath that, notice this is at a 0 now, and this is a function of this work and doing this mapping that I'm doing. And then this one here, I have to get the food right, was very intense. This was at a 9. And then the fear of I'm going to get in trouble. Now, this one's very strong. This is I had such a violent father that I'm always afraid I'm doing it wrong and I'm going to get in trouble. So this was my first eye-opening thing. And I noticed as I started to sit with these feelings, and this number here started to come down from a 9 to a 7, this number started to go down. So in other words, these are the real feelings, and this is kind of the outward manifestation. This is the thing that's reaching for the food. So I noticed without me doing anything else, my desire to reach for too much food really dropped. But here's where it gets really interesting. So I noticed that I had another part that was similar, but it was definitely different. It's like I want something exciting to eat. I want something sugary, something fun. And this was at 10 at the time, and it was just like I just wanted something interesting and fun. I didn't want bland, boring food. And what was underneath that was a part. Somebody's calling me at just the wrong time. Sorry, I'm busy making a video. Um, I wanted something exciting to eat, and what I noticed is I had a part that was sad, that there was nothing special for me. There was nothing exciting in the world, nothing to look forward to. And that I saw what that was covering up was this horrible loneliness, this deep, intense feeling of loneliness. And so this is the incredible part of all this, is I started to proactively, instead of, for the last 4 years, I've been dealing with whatever came up. So if something got triggered, I would sit with it. But now what I started to do with this was I started to um, I started to um, I started to sit with these parts independent of when I was having any kind of cravings. And so I sat with this horrible loneliness, and notice it's at a 2 now. This was at a 10 before. So that loneliness is going way down, and this is really going way down. I want something exciting to eat. That's just not so my desire to overeat, my desire to eat interesting things is just falling away. And they say you can't just like feel your feelings and therefore you won't eat. But what I'm noticing is there are specific feelings that are really causing me to eat. That's been the real breakthrough. So I noticed just the other couple of days this horrible loneliness. This is probably down to a 1 or a 0 now, right? This is down to a 1. I noticed that I started to feel super depressed. And it really reminded me, because I've been in 12-step for so long, of that feeling of withdrawal. So it's like, I'm not getting my drug anymore. I'm not getting the excitement that covers up the loneliness. And so there's this depression that's coming in, this sadness. There's this feeling of wanting to die. And in reality, it's there is a part of me that is dying. That's kind of the deal. Is there's an old part of me, this old way of relating and dealing with these feelings of, oh, I'm lonely. And I wasn't aware that I was lonely. I just wanted food. But I became aware that that food was actual loneliness. And as I started to deal with the loneliness, the desire to eat went away. And as the desire to eat's gone away, that drug is going away. And all of that sadness that happens as a result of withdrawal, no longer having the drug, comes up. And so it's like this morning, I was horribly depressed. But I'm knowing it and understanding it as this process of dying to the self. And this is why I say that it's so important to fall apart, because this falling apart is really something beautiful falling together. Like the freedom that I'm experiencing around food these days, and this applies to all addiction, it's hard to believe. It's beyond my wildest imagination that I could take away all these structures around eating and all of these tight guidelines and all these restrictions, and just allow myself to eat and not have any desire to eat things that aren't good for me. It's really a full-scale miracle. But as part of that miracle is this falling apart. The old way is dying. The ego parts are dying. So I just wanted to share that with this part of that journey with you, so that I'm not always coming across as like, yeah, it's no problem. I'm having to go through these processes, but on the other side is freedom. And it's like I have problems in these areas, like the way that somebody who has 30 years of sobriety with AA has a problem. Everyone, there's this, oh, I had a desire to drink, and it's like recoils from a hot flame. I guess what I'm saying is that this promise in the big book of things being restored to neutrality is really true. And this is as much a part of working the steps as it is this sort of trying new ideas for the 4th step. So anyway, thanks for being with me here on this journey. Please let me know if you're interested in me making more videos about my own personal journey, because I kind of have an instinct to do that people want to hear the nitty-gritty stuff. So if you do, put a comment down below, and don't forget to download your pain wheel trauma inventory parts map down below and get started on doing this for yourself. And then let me know if you want more tutorials on how to do this as a mind map. I'm using the program Mindomo for this. So I hope you're all well. I hope to see you soon, and have a great one. Cheers.